All right, welcome back. NBA season previews. This time we're going to be going over the Dallas Mavericks. Here with me, as always, Jarrod Prosser, our Australian NBA correspondent, myself, Trey Daubert. Jarrod, the Mavs. Interesting playoff run last season. Beat the Phoenix Suns. Time to build on some momentum here, huh?
Yeah, I like the fact that you didn't even mention Utah as part of that surprising run. So,
I feel like they're dead in the water now.
yeah. Oh, look, that was flogging a dead horse. That
Yeah.
Utah series. It was so bad. 52 wins, second in the division behind Memphis. As you mentioned, conference finals run. Took out Phoenix in I think what is. I don't know. Is it famous? Is it infamous, that Game 7? The one that Phoenix just failed to turn up? Was it COVID? Who knows? It's this generation's flu game, I suppose. Or Pizzagate. Pizzagate's the one I'm after.
Okay.
And to be honest, they really did push the Mavs. I mean, the Warriors in the conference finals. They were outclassed, clearly. But they gave a really good account of themselves. And the thing that you've got to remember is that this is a season where Dallas started slowly. Jason Kidd was a much maligned, hire as a coach, but he was pleasantly surprising. He was so much better. I thought he was an awful hire, but I've had to eat my words. I thought he was really good as a coach. Yeah, Porzingis was on the team at the start of the season, and he just wasn't clicking with Luka at all, pining for more touches. So there was a lot of let's get it to KP in the mid post, which is, a traditionally awful move. Kidd's methods didn't quite take. He's more egalitarian offense. Once KP was traded, and let's face it, I mean, Spencer Dinwiddie's a decent player, and Bertans can spread the floor, but they're not exactly worth Porzingis. But just taking away that one option meant put the ball in Luka's hands, and suddenly the Mavericks clicked. So this was a season where, the back half of this campaign, like, people were surprised that as a fourth seed they made the conference finals. But this was a season of two halves for Dallas. The first half of the season was trying to figure out a way to fit Porzingis in. The second half, with him out of the way, it was, well, let's give it to our all-world guard and let him create shit. And magically it worked. Yeah, so I think Dallas are definitely onto a good thing. And most of their moves in the offseason have reflected this new model that they want to go with.
Yeah, you just spoke about their offseason, and I guess this one doesn't really count, or I guess maybe it does. But I guess the reason why they traded for Dinwiddie was for Jalen Brunson insurance. Jalen Brunson is no longer here. How worried are you about that, and what kind of offseason moves do you think the Mavs made to maybe quiet those concerns?
I'm not look, Brunson was arguably their second best player.
Sure.
But at the same time,
I think we gave him about 6 raises during every playoff preview.
No, well, he made himself $20 million just off the Utah series. But he started losing little bits and pieces against Phoenix and especially Golden State. Like, Brunson is an above average player, but he kind of got shown up at the sharp end of the playoffs a little bit. So ultimately, if Brunson is on the team and Luka's on the team, one of them is going to have the ball, which marginalizes the other. So if you're going to, and Dinwiddie as well, all three of them need the ball to be at their best. So I'm sure that they would have preferred to have lost Dinwiddie and, traded him on rather than losing Brunson. But at the same time, Luka's apparently made this, renewed focus on his fitness, which hopefully gives him the opportunity to play more minutes. Dinwiddie will be fully integrated with the side. I don't think he'll give him too much this season, but Jaden Hardy is a steal in the second round, and apps like daylight robbery getting him at the pick they got him. But the big one for me, they picked up JaVale McGee as a center on the free agent market, but trading for Christian Wood, getting him for a first round pick, which you would expect would be mid to late 20s. And assorted flotsam and jetsam. I mean, Boban, Trey Burke, Sterling Brown, who else? Marquise Chris. I'd have forgotten Marquise Chris was still in the NBA, quite frankly. So they got him for essentially a first-round pick and some salary dumps. Now, Christian Wood is the perfect big man to play alongside Luka. So yeah, I think that was a great signing for them.
I don't know if we have to
Trey.
waste any more time here when it comes to the key player. This
Oh,
franchise
look,
revolves around Luka Doncic.
Oh, it's clearly Dorian Finney-Smith.
Fair enough.
Don't ask me to explain why, because I can't. But it's definitely Finney-Smith. No, of course it's Luka. God, it's like that's the easiest question anyone will ask me this year about any subject. You could ask me my kids' names and who is Dallas's star man, and it's easier to answer who is Dallas's star man. Like he's one of the best 5 basketballers on earth. So yeah, clearly the best player on that team. If he is if this, if all this chatter about him getting much fitter in the offseason is true, then we're going to see Luka hit another level. And this is a guy who in 4 seasons, the last 3 of those have been near triple doubles with decent efficiency, like not great, but decent, and a steal plus thrown in. The guy can do everything. Just, yeah, wonderful player. And I mentioned Wood being the perfect big man for him. This gives him another option that he didn't have. Yeah, a genuinely versatile big man. Now, I'm still not sure. I get the JaVale McGee signing. I don't get naming him your starter. I really don't. He's 35 years old, and outside of maybe 1 or 2 years in Denver, hasn't really shown himself to be an effective starter. And those 2 years in Denver when he was 30, 31 maybe, this is a different...
I think he was all right last year for the Suns.
He was, but he wasn't a starter. He was a limited minutes guy. He was the guy that came off the bench or, spot started when Ayton was injured. But if you're contending for a championship, if you're intending to start JaVale McGee and playing 25 minutes a game, I'm not sure that's a recipe for success.
Maybe they want him out there for the tip, and then they're going to swap him out.
Well, the one thing you can say is that Wood is not equipped. Like Wood can move his feet in the perimeter fairly well. He's a good shot blocker, very good rebounder, but he's built like a rail. He's not equipped to bang bodies with bigger centers. So yeah. I suppose that's where, there might be times where you play McGee and Wood together. Play a bigger lineup. Mm.
You mentioned 2 guys that may be considered X factors, Wood and McGee. I don't know if that's your pick or not for the Mavs. Who is your pick?
Definitely Christian Wood. Definitely.
Okay.
On paper, the perfect complement. Like I said, he can roll to the rim, much like Dwight Powell can. He can step out and shoot, like Porzingis can. But he actually is able to do both of those things, not one or the other. And the other thing with Christian Wood is that he can attack a closeout really well. He's very quick and he's a decent ball handler. Porzingis dribbling is dangerous, mostly for his own team. Christian Wood is able to attack a defender, whether it's in a one-on-one jab step situation. He can break someone down. He's a reasonable passer, not always a willing passer, but he's a reasonable playmaker. Like he is offensively ideal for what you want as a big man playing alongside Luka.
So Maverick fans, they should be happy about Wood over Porzingis.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, and the other thing is Porzingis, felt like he should be, if not the star, then at least 1B. Wood will never have that. Like he knows he's had to work to get to the point where he is. Now, and on that, Christian Wood, as we're recording this, it's the day before Christian Wood's 27th birthday. So by the time this is out, he would have just turned 27. He's been an NBA regular for 3 seasons now. This is the best basketball situation that Christian Wood has been in as a regular rotation player. And it's not even close. Rebuilding years in Houston, rebuilding years in Detroit. That's what he's had to deal with. This is the first time that he's ever had consequence to his play. So if he's ever going to make the leap, and I think Christian Wood is a borderline all-star talent. I loved him when he came out in the draft. I had him tipped at like pick 23, pick 25, something like that.
Okay.
But that was purely on all of the off-court shenanigans, bringing him down from a 10 to 15 pick. I thought Wood was a fantastic talent. It was really hard watching him go through all of the stuff he went through, as much as it was his own fault. But if there's ever a time for him to step into what he, could, perhaps should be, then it's going to be this season or next. As he gets used to playing for a genuine basketball side. But the flip side of that is he's never had any sort of consequence or expectation to his NBA career so far. He's always been playing on teams where the results didn't matter. It was more about the individual. Now, he still hasn't played a meaningful minute in the playoffs. So how does a notoriously immature young man cope with that? That's going to be a really fascinating thing to watch for me. If things don't go his way, if he doesn't get the shots he wants, or if he finds defenses are focusing on him, if he doesn't have the freedom to create, if he has to sit within a structure, does he pout? Does he hijack the offense?
Has a contract to play for too.
Well, he does too, yeah. That should hopefully help. But, does he loaf on defense? Christian Wood should be the Mavericks' second best player this season. But if immaturity strikes him at the wrong moment, then that could be disastrous. Absolutely disastrous for Dallas.
All right, Jarrod. Mavs revamped. Do we have a prediction? Are they better than last year?
Yeah, I think they will be. Just based on the fact that they don't have to deal with a new coach and the whole Porzingis Luka back and forth. So, yeah, they've lost Brunson in integrating Wood, but I think that'll be easier. I'll tell you what, if I said this sentence 12 months ago, I would have slapped myself. But I am backing Jason Kidd to figure it out. I've really come around on Kidd as a coach. I've done a complete 180 on him. And I think McGee will help. I'm just really interested to see how they use him and whether they overuse him and how that affects Christian Wood as well. Ultimately, I think the Mavs will overtake the Grizzlies and win the division. And that's, whenever we get to a Memphis preview, that reflects both on Memphis and Dallas.
Jackson Wall's not going to be happy with you.
No, he won't. And I think Memphis is still going to be amazing in the long run. But I think, we're treading on another NBA short here. But I think Memphis do take a little bit of a regression this season, particularly in the regular season. But back at the ranch, I think Dallas will win 54 games and win the division.
Okay. All right. Bold pick. I like it. That's Jarrod Prosser, our Australian NBA correspondent. Make sure to follow him. Hey_it's_JP. I forgot to do that last time. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Make sure to follow the site where all these videos can be found, vendettasportsmedia.com. Follow myself, Trey Daubert. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you for the next preview.